looked like Matthew was able to do individuals.
Yep, he went through all of that. My biggest thing was wanted to be smart with him. If there was any sort of sudden movement that set him back, just didn't think it would be worth it. He's feeling great. He was obviously very upset at me that he wasn't practicing today, which is a good thing. That's what makes him a great competitor. But I think it's also our job to make sure, looking at the timetable we have, talking with Reggie, if there was any sort of sudden movement where there was a setback, that wouldn't be worth it. And so that's why we held him.
Why is he wearing a glove on his left hand?
He had a little issue. He cut his thumb.
Do you think he'll take part in team drills tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I'll talk to Reggie. We'll see. We will progress him as the week goes. But the goal in mind is making sure that we get a good couple weeks of preparation for the Detroit game. How that is progressed over the next 2 days, really with Tuesday and Thursday being the work days that he would have, we'll see.
Do you have some kind of progression plan too for Jonah?
Jonah's been able to do good field work. He'll be able to take part in a lot of the walkthrough settings, and so he'll be on an individual basis this week. That'll be the plan with him, which is great.
How does that conversation, if there is one, go with Matthew? Like, do you deliver the news like you're not practicing?
Yeah, I mean, Reggie talks to him, I talk to him, and it's our job to be able to protect him. And just like I thought he would, as a competitor, they want to be out here and they want to go, and he's probably upset with me, which is why I love him. But it is our job to try to make decisions that are getting ahead of certain things. And if he wasn't a veteran player, it maybe would be a different approach, but he's so sharp above the neck, and getting him physically feeling as good as possible is the most important thing. Could he have practiced today? Probably so. And he felt good enough in the movement that he had throughout individual, but those unscripted movements where a guy beats a tackle or a guard and you have to just make a sudden little movement, if there was any chance that it could aggravate, a tight hamstring, then we wanted to avoid that. So that was the reason for the approach.
Are there any position groups that you're particularly focusing in on as you get start thinking about your final 53 that are?
It's all
really
of them. I'm not going to get into the specifics of where right now we're going to use all the evaluation time, Gary, but there are certain spots that you're really seeing. All right, there's a decision still to be made in a couple of those positions, and I don't want to make like any decision because. Fortunately or unfortunately, unscheduled things occur, and you hope that everybody stays healthy, but injuries are a part of this game. We've seen that. Fortunately, really, with the exception of DK, we haven't lost anybody that we expected to affect the season. But every position is something that we're monitoring. There are certain ones, if you said you had to make a decision right now, that there's some really challenging decisions, and there's some other ones that are probably a little bit more clear-cut.
You guys are practicing early because Houston's going to be practicing early.
That's right.
Up there. But when you get back, feeling the temp out here and then knowing how much warmer it is.
I love it. I want it to be as hot as it could be. No, it is something that we would look at, Jordan. The thing that's different and why we've always gone walk through then practice is from a teaching progression in season. That's really how we mimic and emulate what a game-like season will be. But there is absolutely if the guys handle this the right way, which up to this point they have, that's absolutely something that we'll explore when we get back from Houston.
So it's a big trial run, really.
It is a trial run, and a lot of it was stimulated as a result of what you said. I mean, talking to D'Amico yesterday, it's going to feel a little bit different in Houston, and we're going to be, you got to wake your systems up a little bit earlier. So getting 2 opportunities for us to do that, get closely acclimated, if you will, to, them being ready to go early on, that was kind of the intent.
So if you went to a morning situation, you'd have the practice and then a walkthrough afterward?
But that would only be for the first week that we're in Woodland Hills. When we're doing our game prep, it wouldn't be in alignment with the teaching progression where you walk through some stuff, then you do it out in a full speed. Would you ever say that you never could? No, I wouldn't say that. We've learned a lot of different creative avenues to do what's best for our players, but that wouldn't be something that I envision being realistic and the most sound as it relates to our weekly preparation on a normal in-season Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
What's the biggest thing for rookies when they travel really for the first time that you want them to keep in mind?
I think the biggest thing is as it relates to this situation, making sure you take care of yourself, your hydration, so that you're ready to go. And, I think the good thing about these trips is it does enable you to have a little bit more time around your teammates, similar to going away for camp. But I want them to be able to enjoy it, but I also want them to know that it is a business trip. And I don't know that there's anything specific other than handle yourself the way that you have. I think we've had a really mature young group of rookies that we've brought in here, Jordan, and I like the way they've handled it. And it's always that good balance of urgency and enjoyment without it getting to the point where you're joking around too much. And I think this group has really found a good balance on that so far.
Is there anyone who won't travel?
The only person that I can think of right now would be Darian Kendrick. Everybody else is going to make the trip.
Including the O-linemen who are...
Correct. They'll make the trip. Yep.
How do you feel about the offensive line play on Saturday, and how important is it for you to have sufficient depth at that position?
It's so important. We've seen it the hard way when you have some injuries and how important that depth becomes. I've been pleased. I think that you've seen a lot of improvement from guys. I mentioned yesterday when I talked to a handful of you, what a good job Zach Thomas and Warren McClendon have done maximizing reps that they wouldn't get otherwise. I think Bo Limmer's taken a step in the right direction. Logan Bruss is a guy that's made positive strides, and so we'll continue to evaluate it, but I was pleased with those guys overall. I think Ryan Wendell's doing a great job.
Gibbs Smith walked into a really unique situation, taking over not only a room that had lost its position coach, but also Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I didn't tell him that until he accepted the job. That Aaron was retiring. He's like, what the hell is this?
It's good thinking. But how have you seen him empower some of those veterans to take on bigger leadership roles? I've known Gibb for a long time. When he recruited me when I was in high school to Tulane. And so he was the one that recommended Eric Henderson to me. He's a great coach. He's a great mentor. I was even talking to Joey Bosa about it at the Chargers practice because he coached Joey for a handful of years, and he was saying he's this amazing guy. Sometimes you hear the word players coach, and it can mean they're not hard on guys. That's the exact opposite. He loves these guys. He really invests in the relationships. And that enables them, to know that when he's going to be challenging and demanding of them, hey, I'm going to challenge you to be what you can be. And they're receptive to that. They respond. He has such a great feel for being able to empower guys like what you're asking at him. And so I can't say enough good things about what I've witnessed and how grateful I am that he's here. AC Carter's another great coach that's working alongside him. And I think that's why you've seen good growth from our young group. And a lot of guys have progressed in the right direction, which is a real sign of great leadership from him. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All righty.